tracking the price pain, the price pinch that the Aam Aadmi is feeling. West Asia conflict is once again sending shockwaves through global energy markets, and India is also, of course, feeling the heat. Fuel prices have been hiked across the country, with petrol becoming costlier by 2 rupees 61 paise, and as far as diesel is concerned, 2 rupees 71 paise per litre. This is the fourth increase in just 2 weeks, pushing the cumulative rise to around 7.5 rupees per litre. State-run oil marketing companies are now continuing with their price revisions as they work to recover from their losses after holding rates steady despite rising global crude in pressures. In Delhi, petrol now costs 102 rupees 12 paise per litre, while diesel has reached 95 rupees 20 paise per litre. The last revision was just days ago on the 23rd of May, when petrol and diesel prices were increased. With this latest hike, the burden, of course, is expected to spill over to transport costs, household budgets and business expenses across sectors. Let's break down the details. Let's take a look at the hike in the last 12 days, and let's take a look at how and when this was increased. So 15th of May is when there was an increase. The first hike, 3 rupees per litre. 19th of May, 90 paise was the increase per litre. 23rd May, the increase was 90 paise per litre. And 25th of May, the latest, there's been an increase of 2 rupees 61 paise per litre. The price of both petrol and diesel has gone up across the country. Let's also take you through the possible reasons behind the recent fuel price hike. Let's break down the details of why. Why are we looking at a fuel price hike now? What are the reasons associated with that? Of course, we all know the situation in West Asia. War-related global oil disruption has led to the price hike. The ongoing conflict has pushed crude oil prices up, impact being felt in the domestic markets. OMCs have been absorbing losses, have been facing heavy losses. Part of the burden is now being passed on, which was not done earlier in the initial phase, but now that burden is being passed on to the Aam Aadmi. Now, this also then impacts the import cost, higher import cost of crude. India, remember, heavily depends on imported oil. Global crude price hike, of course, leads to an impact. It has eventually reached our doorstep. Rupee pressure and supply stress is another reason why we see this hike. Weaker rupee plus tighter supply is equal to expensive fuel. The reason why we see a price hike now. The fuel price hike is expected to have an impact, ripple effect on the entire economy. Higher petrol and diesel prices are set to push up logistics, freight costs, immediately impacting the cost of transportation as well across sectors. As the movement of goods becomes more expensive, delivery charges are likely to rise, adding more pressure on end consumers. Economists warn that this could translate into broader inflationary pressure as supply chain costs begin to climb. Manufacturing is also expected to feel the heat, with higher fuel costs increasing the cost of raw material movement and overall production expenses. For MSMEs, the impact could be sharper. Tighter margins and rising operational stress may force difficult business decisions. Companies are now left with limited options: either absorb the higher costs or pass them on to the consumers. Now, Rahul Gandhi, leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, has launched a direct attack on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He has referred to the Prime Minister once again as inflation man, accusing the government of steadily burdening citizens through repeated price hike. He said he had warned earlier of an economic storm and that fuel prices were increased immediately after the polls ended. Rahul alleges the upward trend in prices is likely to continue in the coming days as well. Opposition has launched a sharp attack on the government over the latest fuel price hike, alleging that common consumers are being burdened despite earlier gains in the system. Opposition leaders have termed the situation a corporate protection racket, accusing the centre of prioritizing interests over public relief. They also allege that benefits which were earlier accumulated in the system were not adequately passed on to the consumers. Opposition said that after the elections, the burden is now being shifted on to the common man. They further added that while there is melody for foreign leaders taking a jibe at Prime Minister Narendra Modi, once again, opposition hitting out. Listen into the reactions.
लगता है T20 के मैच देख रहे हैं मोदी जी। तो उन्हें भी शौक हुआ कि हम सेंचुरी पार जाएं, और इसीलिए कल रात में जो उन्होंने निर्णय लिया, सेंचुरी पूरी कर दी दिल्ली में, 100 के पार चले गए। मैं आपको बताऊं, ये उपलब्धि जो जनता की जेब पे डाका है, मैं इतना ही कहूंगा कि ये जो सांप्रदायिकता का क्लोरोफॉर्म का इंजेक्शन लगा के जनता की जेब पे जब डाका डाला जा रहा है, जब उसे होश आएगा ना, तो मोदी जी को कभी माफ नहीं करेगी।
Price of crude oil has gone down today at $98.6 per barrel, but they are pickpocketing. BJP is pickpocketing the pockets of the common man by raising the price of petrol and diesel by ₹2.71 a litre again. We have an explosive expose on the same. We will expose as to how pockets of the common man are being plundered, how Kannadigas are being duped, how Kannadigas, there is a systematic loot happening with them.
I think now the Bharatiya Janata Party not only want your vote, but they also want to capture on your thinking, on your ability, on your lifestyle, on what you are wearing. This is totally unacceptable. I think now the people of the Delhi should realize that how they have lost after taking the Bharatiya Janata Party in the power, and now Bharatiya Janata Party is basically encroaching the ability of every Indian, ordinary Indian, and this is a very sad part of it.
It is very unfortunate. In last 1 week, 7 rupees per litre is increased by the government of India. During election, they didn't increase just to misguide the nation. Total benefit of our oil companies is approximately 2 lakh rupees per annum. This is the revenue getting from crude oil products. And now government is increasing, just making these false allegations that crude oil prices are going up.
So the opposition is hitting out at the government. Meanwhile, government sources have told Times Now that India has seen one of the lowest fuel price hikes globally amid the recent energy shock. According to sources, fuel prices in India have risen by just 7.5% compared to global spikes ranging anywhere between 10% to as high as 90% in several markets. The government further stated that prices were kept steady for 78 days despite ongoing global disruptions, including the West Asia conflict. It also highlighted that nearly 30,000 crores in revenue impact was absorbed to shield consumers from sharper price increases. Government sources also pointed out that higher fuel prices in opposition-ruled states are due to value-added tax structures, VAT, while BJP-ruled states have passed on earlier duty cuts to consumers. According to sources, oil marketing companies continue to face losses, leading to partial pass-through of costs. And during earlier phases of the global energy shock, India had also undertaken multiple rounds of price reductions. This is what the government says. Union Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri had said India faced no shortage of crude oil, PNG or LPG despite the ongoing West Asia conflict.
आज करीब उसके 80 दिन होने वाले हैं। पिछले 4 साल में हमने ये दूसरा मेजर युद्ध है, तो इसमें कई हमारे पास नई समस्याएं जिनका सामना करना पड़ता। तो मुझे बहुत खुशी है आपको ये बताते हुए कि भारत एक ऐसा देश है विश्व भर में जिसमें ना कच्चे तेल की, ना पाइप नेचुरल गैस की, ना एलपीजी की कोई कमी हमने होने दी। एंड समय पे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने निर्णय लिए। हम वाराणसी में, काशी में हम ये चाह रहे हैं कि जो पाइप गैस कनेक्शन थे वो ज़्यादा तेज़ी से, जो एलपीजी कनेक्शन थे उसको ज़्यादा तेज़ी से पाइप गैस में कन्वर्ट किया जाए।